We have currently 3 banners in the game with Mint, with Neon Vision Eye, and also with Eve, and we are getting Raven next week and then a Pria banner. So there is a lot of banners right now, and I want to talk a little bit about priority for new players in the game and free-to-plays as well. Which characters, in my opinion, are worth grabbing, pulling for, skipping, wishlisting, or directly ticketing with gold millions. That said, before we start, hello the internets, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Today's topic: priority for the current banners in the game. There is 5 characters we're going to be talking about. We're going to be assuming a lot of things on precap. That said though, if we click right here, okay, just based on this, all of these units are almost a millage. Okay, look at Mint, look at Pria. Easy millage, easy 200 gold tickets as well with Eve. That's like guaranteed tickets, right? In my opinion, if you're going for a waifu. That's it. Let's talk about meta-wise, which ones are actually interesting to be getting, and which ones I would actually millage, which ones I will pull one, and which ones I could go for the wishlist. And like I was saying, obviously, just because they are not limited characters, they are both going into the wishlist. Now, Mint. Let's start with Mint, then we go into Pria. Mint is a character that I like quite a bit. I made my video yesterday on her for the first impressions. And even after more testing, we ended up placing her initially on T2. I'll make a video, a full guide tomorrow. The tier list has been updated quite a bit, a lot of placement changes. But basically, she starts at T2. She's a character that can compete with, for example, buffers like Grave, no problem at all. With buffers that, are really good into the meta currently, she can compete. But the problem is, first of all, for most people, you already have your, Nayuta, your Crown, your B8 invested. And then second, she's not a limited character. As much as I like her, as much as she's a decent buffer, why would you be pulling for something that's not limited when there are currently 2 limited banners and 1% banner, right? And those are also really important to be getting. So it's really hard for a new player to justify pulling for Mint, simply because of that. Just the fact that she's not limited and you can put her on your wishlist after the banner ends. And the same thing sadly applies for Pria. Okay, I do like the cat and the dog. I think they both look really cute. I like them. But it's really hard for a new player to be like, yeah, go all in on these banners, guys. Don't worry, it's fine. Ignore the limiteds and also the summer banners we are getting afterwards, right? So Mint and Pria, characters that I would personally tell a new player and free-to-play, they can wishlist. If you like them, however, at least Mint right now is a pretty good buffer, and I'm gonna be using her on raids because I like being comfy. I like having someone who can not only move, but also heal. And since she is switching back and forth between boss states, this means I can be getting actually everything I need for a B2 on solo raids. For Union Raid, we'll see if I end up using her, maybe on my Snow White team for Water Week. There is Union Raid hard mode today on Reset, so we're going to be testing a lot of teams on that with Mint, and then tomorrow we'll make our final verdict video. That said, that is the reason why both of them are a wishlist at the moment. Now, let's talk about Pool 1 and Millage. Let's actually jump directly into Millage first and then into Pool 1. In my opinion, you should just ticket Neon. There is no reason to be pulling on 1% banners. 1% banners are a scam. And that's coming from someone who had to use 1000 gold millage here for Anis to get the core 7, because after 800 pulls, I got only a core, what? I don't remember how many I got. Core 3 maybe? Something like that? Oh no. I think I got the core 2 in total and then I ticketed 5 myself or something like that. So 1% banners are really harsh. Doesn't matter if it's another spec or doesn't matter if it's a pilgrim. On none of those situations, the 2% to 1%, it's really noticeable. So if you care about meta and if you have close to 200 tickets, or maybe you want to be pulling for Raven and Eve because they are worth pulling for, and we'll talk about them for a moment, and then use gold millage on Neon, that would be probably a good decision, right? You pull for Eve and Raven, try to get at least or close to 200 tickets, and then use them for her. Neon is a character that will be used on solo raid, on union raid, on campaign clears, on tower to push both the normal tower and also on the pilgrim tower and the missilist tower, because she is another spec character. She is the closest B3 we've gotten to the other meta girls like Rapid Red Hood, like Snow White Heavy Arms. Even some people might be considering Liberalia to be up there. I think Libby is not as close, but she provides some really good utility. That's why, she's so good. But Neon is a fantastic character. So if you can ticket her, I will say milliards and just forget about the 1% banner. So you can instead pull on both Raven and Eve. And speaking on Raven and Eve, let's actually go over them and why I would recommend getting a copy. These are, first of all, limited characters, right? So that's why these two are going into the wish list and why we're trying to pull for Raven and Eve. Now, let's assume you don't care about the Stellar Blade and you don't care about FOMO, about your Pokédex being complete. You can skip a Stellar Blade, it's fine. But even if you didn't care about FOMO and you only pull for characters that are good, they are both great units. First is Eve, probably the one that has the most usage on Iron Week content with Helm Aquamarine as a debuffer. Is a fantastic character in that regard. She will have two things, right? Her damage taken, which is fantastic. She has a little bit more in here as well. And then she will be having her own mini Bastion plus some nice self buffs. Her damage is a sub DPS. She's not an hyper carry by any means, but even for a sub DPS and a debuffer, her damage is pretty good. Also, obviously, you know, the biggest reason to be pulling for Eve is going to be the interesting shooting pose that she has. Now, gacha skins, as usual, only get them if you care enough about the character. I personally skip the Eve one because I feel her base design is already really good. Look at those legs. So I didn't bother too much with the gacha skin. And then we can go into Raven. Raven is a B3 that can be used not only for Iron Week content, but overall even for neutral. She's a character that we see on solo raids and union raids quite a bit. On solo raid more than union raid. On union raid it's only for Iron Week. But even on campaign, for bosses that are weak to electric, the iron, you can use her. Even for main tower, you can use her. She's a fantastic DPS. She's a basic bitch, selfish DPS when it comes to how you build her. And she's just full auto as well, because she's one of those characters that have an automatic, annoying auto shot. So if you can afford to grab a copy and just do some pulls to see if you get lucky, I will say it's worth 100%. Now, if you do not have close to 200 tickets, and you don't have enough pulls to even be getting close to that, then I will say you only pull for Neon first, because as much as these two are limited, like I said before, Neon is just a better character. But there is a lot of preference here going on. To me, I will always prioritize limited characters because, well, I'm a gambling addict and I like having my pockets at 100%. But it's also a little bit of how everyone prefers to play, right? There's always going to be some preference and some bias. So to me, limited stake priority over anything else, even over the 1%, I will try to get them. That said, that's basically everything for this video. A little bit of a priority on the current banners. I hope Pria is going to be a good banner. I'm looking forward for her kit to see if it's as good as Mint, and we can keep getting good units. Please shift up. No more Snow Cranes. Those are the worst banners ever. In fact, I would even say Snow Crane is by far the worst character release in 3.5 years. It's awful how bad she is. Which is a pity, because she looks super nice, right? This is what it is. Says Lavi Boys with shift up. That's it. Enough jumping, enough ranting. That's everything for this video. As usual, we are live every single day. Any questions you guys might have, feel free to leave a comment down below. Good luck with your pool dinner dates, and I'll see you on the next one.